Hi there, my name is Dr. Mark Smith. I'm a local Victoria chiropractor operating out of Progressive Chiropractic in Gordon Head on the corner of Shelburne and Mackenzie. And recently I was introduced to a coworker of yours named Ray Nubawa, who informed me that as a staff, the Brentwood Bay staff might appreciate some proactive strategies to help offset the daily stresses of their various jobs at the resort. And so apparently there's 120 of you, which is a lot, but as I sat down and thought about it, I realized that right from the kitchen staff all the way down through the spa staff, there's a lot of similarities in the daily spinal stresses that you come across. And so if you're working in the kitchen, maybe your head's down and you're chopping all day, or maybe as a dishwasher, same kind of position. As a house cleaning staff worker, you might be kind of bent over scrubbing all day, or in the spa, you might be hunched over somebody giving massages, or as an esthetician, you might be working hunched over working on toenails all day. I don't know. Everyone's job is a little bit different, but in all of these cases, it's very much like my position where you're going to accumulate a lot of stress in the neck and the upper back. And so the exercises that I'm about to show you are meant to improve your overall spinal health, decrease pain, and even be preventative for things like neck and upper back pain. So I hope you enjoy them. I hope you do them as often as you can, and it improves your quality of life. So with all of these exercises, first and foremost, we want to make sure that safety is our number one priority. If you have issues with your shoulders, with your upper back, past traumas, car accidents, you want to be especially careful and not push through the point of pain. So the first exercise that I want to show you is just wanting to get warmed up, to warm up the upper back and shoulders. It's just doing some simple shoulder rolls like so. And these are very simple. They're something that you can do throughout the day as often as you can. And really for all of the exercises that we're doing, you want to do these as often as you can throughout the day. So we're doing this for about 20 seconds or so, just getting things warmed up. And then we move into some of these, what we call the butterfly kind of exercise. And so your hands are up in this position and you're doing some simple backward shoulder rolls. Really trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together and get movement into an area of your spine that we don't often get movement into. And if you're a little weak in the upper back, you might already be feeling a little bit of a burn up there. So that's good. So we're waking up muscles that have maybe been a little bit dormant. And so again, you do this for about 20 seconds or so. Next are what I like to call the YWTL exercises. What you're going to do is with your thumbs pointing backwards, you're getting up into this position, okay? And what we're doing is we're squeezing the shoulder blades together, just like so, for about 15 or 20 seconds, as hard as you can, basically. So this is the Y position. And then after about 15-20 seconds, we're getting into the W position, just like so, squeezing the shoulder blades back together as hard as you can for about 15-20 seconds. Next, you're getting into this T position, just like so. Again, really squeezing the shoulder blades together as hard as you can for about 15-20 seconds. I'm speeding it up just a little bit to save a bit of time. And then arms, elbows down by your side. You're really tucking your elbows into your side and squeezing back in this L position for about 15 or 20 seconds. And if you're like me, you're probably finding yourself already getting a little bit warmed up. Next, what we want to do is an exercise that's one of my personal favorites. What you require is one of these rubber exercise bands, better known as a TheraBand. And so you want to start with a band that's fairly light in resistance. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold it out just like so, about shoulder width apart, maybe even a bit further. And what we're going to do is, most importantly, keep our elbows locked in position as much as you can. And you're going to take this band and you're going to go over your head and back to the best of your ability. Again, be very careful if you have shoulder injuries or issues, okay? And you might be someone who is very inflexible in the shoulders and the upper back. That's okay. You just take it up as far as you can. If it's this far, great. If it's this far, great. If you can go all the way down and back, even better. And you do about 15 or 20 of these repetitions. Now, you might find that you're feeling a little bit of clicking and cracking in your shoulder blades. That's okay on the back side there, because you're releasing soft tissue that's been bound up. And over time, as you get better and better at this one, what you're going to do is bring your arms in even closer so that you get even more of a good stretch through the shoulders, and that feels really good. As you get stronger, what you're going to do is move to an even thicker band and do the same thing. So for myself, I'm pretty good at this because I do this every day. Like I said, I'm hunched over people, working on them all day, so this is a great way to offset that posture, just like so, and it feels really good. So you might be someone who suffers a little bit with issue in their neck, particularly after a long work day. And as it is with the rest of your spine, what we want to do is take the neck through a full range of motion every day. Like if you're at a computer all day, you might find yourself looking in this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, but only to that degree. What we want to do is take your neck through a full range of motion every single day. And so with this exercise, all you do is you turn your head directly to one side, and you hold there for about 15 seconds rather, holding there for as long as 15 seconds. Switching to the other side, holding again for 15 seconds, and you're actually kind of pushing a little bit into the maximum range of motion. Again, not to pain, but to the point where you feel a good stretch. Same thing when you go downward. You're going to hold here for about 15 seconds, pushing into the end range of your motion just a little bit. What you can also do, and again, you have to be careful with this, that you're not actually pulling, but just using basically the weight of your arm to give a light stretch downwards, and you might actually feel a stretch all the way into your mid-back there. And then same thing off to the side here. Give a little stretch this way, hold for about 15 seconds or so, and that feels really good. And then over to the other side, holding for about 15 seconds or so. Now, if you're somebody that works with your hands all day, as a lot of you do, it's important to take care of those too. So to finish off, we'll work on the hands and wrists a little bit here by doing some simple rolls through the wrist, just like so, going in one direction for about 15 rotations or so, just to lubricate the joints, basically get fluid moving back in through the joints, and then the other direction, same thing, 10 or 15 times, just making sure that we get a full range of motion through the wrists as well. And then one of my favorites, doing a stretch through the forearm here. So basically you're sticking your hand out just like so, and then with the opposite hand you're pulling back on the tips of your fingers until you feel a good stretch through the forearm. And you're holding that for about 15 seconds or so. And on the other side, just like so. So again, you don't have to do all of these exercises. You don't have to do them in the exact succession that I'm showing you. It's just the more the better. And so next is another one of my favorite stretches for the mid-back, and even for the chest too, to open up the chest. Because as the day goes on, we can tend to get into this kind of a position, and we want to offset that kind of a stress by bringing the shoulders back and stretching things out. So simply find a doorway, which is easy enough, and you put your arms at about a 90-degree angle, and then you're just kind of leaning in to the point where you feel a good stretch through the chest and into the mid-back, and you just hold that for about 20 seconds. Again, if you tend to find that your ribs are popping and moving, that's okay. That's actually not a bad thing. It's just the joints releasing a little bit. And again, don't push yourself through the point of pain. You're just doing this to your own ability. Holding for about 15 to 20 seconds, and it feels really good. All right, guys, so to end things off here, I want to show you one more exercise that involves a prop, a simple foam roller. And this is something that I recommend for a lot of my patients to do. It's something that I do on pretty much a daily basis to keep my mid-back loose, and in doing so, it's also going to affect the neck in a nice way as well. It's rolling out on a foam roller. And initially what you want to do is you want to start with a foam roller that's pretty simple, just like this. You can order these online. You can get them at Sport Check or maybe the sporting goods section of a Walmart or a Canadian Tire. And all we're going to do is we're going to lay on this thing and roll our mid-back out. So I prefer at this point to use a harder one. My wife's lovely plastic one here. I wouldn't necessarily recommend one of these to start because they are pretty intense, pretty hard, but basically what we're gonna do is lay this on the ground and roll out on it in a way that helps release our mid-back. So I'll try to get set up in a way here that you can actually see what I'm doing. So as you can see, the foam roller is positioned under my mid-back, and all I'm gonna do is kind of roll up and down on it just like so, in order to release the soft tissue. And sometimes you'll actually feel your spine or your ribs move a little bit with this. That's okay, as long as it's not painful. And so as we get into this exercise, what you're gonna do ideally is put your arms over your head just like so, and roll up and down all the way up to the top of the shoulder blades. And really you can do this as long as you want, as long as it's not irritating you. And what I like to do is then cross my shoulders over, work a little bit more on one side into where the ribs connect to the spine, and then over on to the other side. Just like so. So for those of you who may not have as good a balance, getting a wider one of these foam rollers to start might be a good idea. But really these are just some good preventative tools to help offset the daily stresses of your day. I hope this has been helpful. Talk to you next time.